this is Miss G. Today we're going to be making quick and easy chicken pot pie. This is what you'll need to make my quick and easy chicken pot pie. Chicken broth, a shredded rotisserie chicken, 3 rolls of crescent rolls, a cup of milk, a stick of butter, 2/3 a cup of flour, an onion, some minced garlic, some mixed vegetables, and some diced potatoes. First thing I'm going to do is go ahead and chop up my onion. Okay, I think that's chopped well enough. I just don't want any big pieces of onion. Now that I've got my onion chopped, I'm going to go ahead and melt my butter. Now you don't want to get your butter brown, you just want it to melt, so I'm going to do it on medium-high heat. Okay, my butter is almost melted, so I'm going to go ahead and add my onions. Let them saute for a little while. Get good and tender. And again, you don't want your butter to brown, you want it to just melt. So just kind of cook your onions for a little while until they get translucent or see-through, and then we'll add some minced garlic. We don't want to add it too soon because it'll get bitter, so we'll add minced garlic and then we'll add our flour. Okay, as you can see, my onions are cooking in the butter, so I'm going to add about a tablespoon of minced garlic. It is smelling good in here. I'm going to add some salt. Well, no, I'm not. I don't have any salt in that salt shaker. I'm going to add some pepper. You just season it the way however spicy you want it to be. I'm going to take. Yeah, go ahead. Okay, so it's smelling really good in here. So that smells pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and add my flour. This is 2/3 a cup of flour. This is going to kind of make my roux, really just thickens it when I put my liquids in. So now I am ready to add my chicken broth. You're going to need a little bit less than 4 cups. This box is 4 cups, so I'm just going to add almost 4 cups. Okay, that feels like a little bit's left in there, so I'll stick that in my refrigerator for when I put chicken in my Instant Pot. That was my chicken broth. Now I'm going to go ahead and add my milk also. This is a cup of milk. I'm going to add my vegetables. This is just frozen vegetables. I'm not going to put this whole bag in here, but I'm going to put probably at least half of the bag. I want to get them kind of tender before I put them in my dish. And I'm going to drain this can of diced potatoes, and I'll be putting these potatoes in there also. You can use leftover potatoes that you've cooked before, or you can stew some potatoes before you start this. I had this can of potatoes, so I'm just going to pour this can in. I'm going to give that a swirl, let it come to a simmer, and it'll thicken up, and it'll start looking more like the innards of chicken pot pie. And then we'll get ready to put it in our dish after we add our chicken. I'm using a rotisserie chicken today, but you can, I have in the past put chicken in the Instant Pot and shredded it that way. You can cook it in the oven, you can boil it. You can cook your chicken any way you want to. Just make sure it's cooked before you put it in. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but it's starting to bubble a little bit. And as it bubbles, it's going to get thicker. Yeah, it's getting a lot thicker. We're going to let it simmer. And it's just getting thicker and thicker. You can see it's getting to be more of a consistency that would be in a chicken pot pie. It's not so watery. I'm going to let it bubble up a little bit more, get a little thicker, and then I'm going to add my chicken. Now the reason I chose to use a rotisserie chicken is because I like the flavor. The rotisserie chickens will have little fat droppings in, and I always put them in also. This is a traditional rotisserie chicken. My favorite one to use is a garlic rotisserie chicken. You get them at Walmart. They just have a really rich, garlicky, buttery flavor. That would be my favorite. And if I did that, I probably wouldn't put the minced garlic in it because it already has that garlic flavoring. But today this is traditional, so that's why I added garlic. You can also use garlic powder if you don't have minced garlic. You know, cooking's one of those things that you don't have to have exactly the same thing. You just kind of throw it in and see what happens. Okay, you can see that this is getting much thicker. Let me see. So I'm going to add my rotisserie chicken. I went ahead and shredded it, so I'm going to add that in. And I don't know if you can see them on the camera or not, but all of these little fat droppings, I call them little yummies, they need to go in too. That gives it that extra flavor. Okay, I'm going to mix that in. Ooh, let me turn my heat down. Mix that in. You can see how thick my liquid part is. It looks like the innards of a chicken pot pie. So let's put them in a chicken pot pie. So I'm just going to mix that chicken in, get all those yummies in, and we are ready to put it in our dish. So I'm going to pull this to the side and get my dish. Okay, here's the dish I'm going to use. It's a 13 by 9. It's just a regular baking dish. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to spray it with some butter flavored spray. And I'm going to take my crescent rolls. Now I found these at Winn-Dixie. It's a dough sheet. It doesn't have the little perforations to make crescent rolls. So I bought this because I thought it would work out well. You can absolutely use the ones that are perforated. Just kind of pinch the perforations together. Okay, I'm going to use one here, and then the last one will go on top like this. I let them sit out on the counter too long. Probably a bit easier to do if these are a little colder than what I've got. So I'm just going to lay that one across like this. I know it's not beautiful, but it'll still taste good. I'm just going to let that hang over the side for now. Yeah, definitely leave it in your refrigerator. Don't let it sit out on the counter because it's hard to work with like this. Okay. That one worked out a little bit easier than the other one. I'm going to pinch this middle together. Okay, now we're going to put our insides. Just going to pour it in. Spread it out real good. Oh, that looks really good. I have used canned vegetables before and they worked out just fine. You don't want to cook them as long though because they're already cooked. The reason I put these frozen one in so they would get a little more tender. So if you use canned, kind of put them in last with the chicken. Okay, this one's going to go straight across the top. And then we're going to pinch it all together. So we're just going to roll these sides up. I kind of like to pinch the sides, make it look a little bit prettier. You can make this with the pizza dough, the pie dough that you can roll out. It works really well too. Just make half of the recipe and put it in a pie plate instead of a casserole if you don't need as much. Last time I made it with pie dough, and it was really good. Okay, now that ended up looking pretty after all. So now we're going to take a knife. I'm just going to cut some vent holes in it. I want to spread it a little bit. Oh, it's white powder. So it doesn't seal back up when it gets hot. Now, I think that will work just fine. We're going to put it in a preheated oven at 375 and we're going to leave it for 30 minutes. We're going to check on it. And if it's nice and brown on top, we'll take it out. And if it's not, we'll leave it in a little longer. Okay, so it looks like 30 minutes was the perfect time. It's nice and golden brown. I'm going to set it on the counter and let it cool for a little while. Then we'll be ready for supper. Chicken pot pie is on the menu.